The federal taps open again. But will chargers show up where drivers actually need them? After months of delays, $7.5 billion in NEVI funding is flowing again. The question is whether this restart will finally put fast chargers where road trippers actually drive. Today we're breaking down what changed, where the money goes first, and how you can push for better charger placement. Let's start with the basics. NEVI stands for National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure. It's the federal program designed to build a nationwide network of fast chargers along major highways. Launched as part of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, NEVI promised to fund charging stations every 50 miles. The goal was simple: eliminate range anxiety by ensuring drivers could always find a fast charger within reasonable distance. But 2023 brought unexpected roadblocks. Permitting delays, supply chain issues, and complex federal requirements slowed progress to a crawl. States struggled with Buy America requirements that limited equipment options. Grid upgrades took longer than expected, and utility coordination became a major bottleneck. Meanwhile, EV adoption accelerated faster than charging infrastructure, creating growing gaps in coverage. By mid-2023, only a handful of NEVI-funded stations had actually opened to the public. The program that promised to transform EV road trips had essentially ground to a halt. Enter the Department of Transportation's new guidance, released in late 2023. The changes streamline approvals and prioritize getting chargers operational faster. First, states can now use expedited permitting for standard charging station designs. Pre-approved station layouts mean less paperwork and faster deployment. Second, Buy America requirements now have clearer guidelines and more approved equipment options. The new guidance also establishes clear rollout priorities. High-traffic corridors with existing EV adoption get first priority. Rural routes follow, but with modified requirements that account for lower usage patterns. Most importantly, states must now demonstrate utility coordination before funding approval. This ensures grid capacity exists before construction begins, preventing costly delays. So where will you see new chargers first? California leads with over $1 billion allocated. Texas follows with $600 million, focusing on Interstate 10 and Interstate 35 corridors. Florida gets $450 million, prioritizing tourist corridors and Interstate 95. New York receives $400 million for the Northeast Corridor and upstate connections. These four states account for nearly half of all NEVI funding, reflecting their EV adoption rates and highway traffic. Interstate 95 from Maine to Florida gets top priority on the East Coast. Interstate 10 from California to Florida becomes the southern transcontinental charging backbone. Interstate 80 provides the northern route, connecting San Francisco to New York City. Interstate 75 links the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast, serving major metropolitan areas. Each corridor will have fast chargers every 50 miles maximum, with most gaps filled by 2026. But funding alone won't solve the on-the-ground challenges that slowed NEVI's first phase. Local permitting remains the biggest bottleneck, with approval times varying wildly by jurisdiction. Some cities approve charging stations in weeks, while others take 6 months or more. Zoning boards, environmental reviews, and community input all add time to the process. Environmental assessments, while necessary, can delay projects by months when not planned properly. Grid upgrades present an even bigger challenge. Fast charging stations need substantial electrical capacity, often requiring new transformers and upgraded lines. Utility coordination timelines don't always align with construction schedules. Rural locations face the biggest challenges, sometimes requiring miles of new power lines. Smart grid integration adds another layer of complexity but enables better load management. Then there's the question of who operates and maintains these stations long-term. Early EV charging networks suffered from poor reliability and inadequate maintenance. NEVI requirements mandate 24/7 customer support and 97% uptime. Success depends on treating charging stations like critical infrastructure, not just equipment installations. So, how can you track NEVI progress and push for better charger placement in your area? Start with apps like PlugShare and ChargePoint that show real-time station status and user reviews. The Department of Transportation maintains a public dashboard tracking NEVI funding by state and project status. Your state DOT website lists planned charging locations and construction timelines. Look for gaps in coverage along routes you frequently travel, especially between major cities. To influence charger placement, attend local planning meetings where site selections are discussed. Email your city council and state representatives about charging gaps you've experienced. Respond to public comment periods for charging station proposals, especially for locations you'd actually use. Join local EV groups that coordinate advocacy efforts and share real-world charging experiences. Document charging gaps on social media with location tags to build public awareness. Watch for construction signs indicating NEVI-funded projects in your area. Good locations combine highway access with amenities like restaurants, restrooms, and shopping. Look for stations supporting multiple charging standards, not just one manufacturer's vehicles. The best installations integrate renewable energy and grid storage for long-term sustainability. NEVI funding is flowing again, but success depends on smart deployment and community input. If you road trip, here's one way to turn the funding into usable chargers. Find your state's NEVI plan, identify gaps in your travel routes, and submit specific feedback about where you need chargers. Your input helps ensure chargers end up where drivers actually need them, not just where they're easiest to build. Drop a comment below about the biggest charging gaps you've encountered on road trips, and subscribe for more updates on EV infrastructure as these projects roll out nationwide.